Yo. Welcome back to Dolphins United, the platform for Dolphins. You heard me. Do me a favor to read this shirt, okay? This is most of us Dolphins. We are all fins up till we die, all right? Ain't no jumping off the ship because some quarterback had a bad game. We don't care who it is. We gonna outlast any quarterback, all right? With that being said, I want to go ahead and discuss some of the things that some of the players are saying because some of it's kind of true, right? We're getting a little bit toxic at times where we're overly bashing a quarterback or any player that's on the squad that's doing their best, right? They're giving it their all. Now, it might not be up to our standards. And that's where the players need to understand is that we've been here a long time. We've seen the story, the movie, the plays, the outcome, the situation. We've seen all this before. All right, so it's triggering our battered fan syndrome. All right, so when that gets to be triggered, then some of our ugly sides and they all come out, right? And it's not all good. So you got to understand where we're coming from as fans, but we'll understand where you're coming from as players. You're out there giving it your all. You're not out there loafing around. Tua wasn't out there trying to play bad. He wasn't trying to sabotage the squad. We understand that. Tua's working hard, okay? He had a bad 2 games. It happens. He's human. We don't want to see it. We're going to call you out for it. But at the end of the day, you're family because you're a part of the Dolphins. So it's like when 2 brothers fight, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's all love. All right, so we're going to say some things back and forth. You might hurt me, I might hurt you. But then at the end of the day, we're going to mend and we're going to let bygones be bygones and we're going to move on because we understand that we need each other at this point. All right, we need Tua to perform and Tua needs us to have his back. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to wipe. We got our 48 hours out of the way because as fans, we can take a little more time than them. We got our 48 hours out of the way to sulk in the loss. Now it's time to move on to Buffalo. What do we do from here on out, right? What's good? What does the rest of the year look like? Because at the end of the day, although Tua was trash the last 2 games, ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He was trash the last 2 games. He was playing like trash the last 2 games, and mainly this last one. 10 for 28, that ain't no good, all right? But we don't need to open up wounds that are healing. So, Tua did not play well the last 2 games. That does not mean he's had a horrible season, right? He's still number 2 in the league in passer rating. Probably still top 10 in QBR. It's tanking. And he's top 10 in PFF. He's still a top 10 quarterback. Has he played like a top 28 quarterback the last 2 weeks? Absolutely not. All right. He's in the bottom 20. He's in the from 28 to 32 the last 2 weeks, and that's just the God's honest truth. But over the year, he's been playing as a number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 quarterback over the rest of the year. Okay. Now it's not that he's been playing great all these games either. No, he's had like 3 or 4 great games, maybe 2 solid games, good games, maybe 3 below average games. And then the rest of them were just poor, all right? And then the last one was piss poor. Like, it was really bad. So he hasn't played great. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that overall, he's had a great season up until the last 2 weeks, is what I'm saying. When you got up to them last 2 weeks, everybody was talking about him in the conversation for MVP. Now, after these last 2 weeks, the conversation's over, right? There's no real chance for him to be an MVP unless he runs the table and he does it astronomically. We don't expect him to at this point because the offense needs so much work, which we're about to talk about. But yeah, so Tua has a chance to still do everything he's wanted to do this year. It's all in front of him. Make the playoffs, win playoff games. That's all in front of Tua. He just has to continue to get better and ball out. Here's the silver lining, right? This video is about a silver lining. And this is it. We don't like how we've looked these last 2 games. It doesn't look good because we thought we had Super Bowl possibly aspirations. Although our defense is suspect, we thought maybe our offense could actually get us through because they were scoring 30, 30, 30, 30, 30 to the last 2 weeks. For the most part. We've come to find out, harsh reality, that our offense isn't there either, right? We have some issues because not only did the 49ers kind of expose us, because here's what happened. And I'll give you the silver lining in a second. Here's what happened. Let me dress it up. We went into the 49ers game. Tua was off. Rhythm was off. Things like that. Still had guys wide open, but the rhythm was off, right? It just wasn't the same timing rhythm that he had before they went into the bye week. But they still had wide open guys. Still threw for 295, 2 touchdowns. Although he did have 2 interceptions, one of them his fault, the other one miscommunication type thing, right? Timing was off. So then you move to the next game. What did they do? They did a little bit of the same, a little bit different. How? They threw off the timing again. But they didn't do it just getting zone guys deeper depth, right? That's not what they did, clogging up the middle the same way San Francisco did it. No. They got hands on guys at the line of scrimmage. They made it tough from the onset, right? They decided that we're going to press more than we have this whole season. We're going to get our hands, because remember now, we're talking about 5'8", 5'9" guys in Waddle and Hill. These aren't big, tall guys, physical guys, okay? That's not what they are. They got their hands on them. They did the 5-yard chuck. That means the linebacker would go and move him off his route, right? Disrupt the timing so that when Tua gets to the top of that drop, he's having to wait, okay? Then on top of that, you're disrupting the timing and you're getting depth. On top of that, the run hasn't been working. So now the linebackers aren't coming up like they were early in the year, right? How you were able to get those voids in the middle in the first place was because the linebackers were coming up on the play action. They assumed that we'd been able to run the football. Now they don't even care anymore. They're just getting back. They're not coming up on the run because we haven't been running. 2, we haven't run it too effective enough to be scared. They're getting the heck up out of there. Safeties, all that. Getting the heck up out of there, clogging up the middle. And in this last game, playing more man coverage, press coverage, tight up on the wide receivers, no separation, hard passes to complete. And that's just the God's honest truth. Now, Tua is supposed to be accurate, right? Tua hasn't had to be accurate, though. Really, he hasn't, because he's had guys wide open. Now, there are times where Tua's been very accurate. The throw to Gesicki against the Ravens. Accurate ball in the back of the end zone. All right. He put it in a place that only his wide receiver could catch it. You saw Herbert throw a few nights ago where he put it in the only spot Williams would be able to get it or nobody would be able to get it, and he made a heck of a play. Same type of play Tua did earlier in the year. He can do those type of things. The throw to Sherfield, right, in the back of the end zone against the Browns. Beautiful pass. The throw deep on 3rd and 22 against Buffalo Bills. Beautiful pass to Waddle in stride. The throw to Waddle, but Waddle was wide open on this one. The throw to Waddle against Detroit. Beautiful in stride. He can do those type of things. The throw he had to against the Browns to Waddle on 3rd and 5, right, when he zipped it on an out route. Beautiful pass, in stride, out in front. He can do those type of things, right? But he hasn't had to be that because even when he was off, they were catching everything in the wide open zones. So Tua now has to really hone in on his footwork. I don't know if his ankle is bothering his footwork because I know with Tua, footwork means a lot. And with most quarterbacks, footwork means a lot in accuracy. I don't know if it's his ankle that's bothering him, that's not allowing him to be as accurate. But Tua has now realized after these last 2 games, oh man, I have to be on point because now the coverage is going to be tighter. I have to put the ball right where it needs to be, not where necessarily you want to put he needs to put the ball where he needs to put it and wants to put it, right? Like if he wants that ball to go out front, it has to go out front. He can't miss. Basically what I'm trying to say. He can't miss because if that ball's a little bit behind and it's tight coverage, the defender can get his hand in there and knock it down. Deep passes, they got to be out front. Too many of the deep balls are you're catching it like this, right? You can't catch a deep ball like this with tight coverage. You can if you're open, but if you're catching a deep ball, it needs to be like this. Ball needs to be out front, reaching out for it, catching it, running it in stride, right? It can't be like this. Can't do that. If the guy has to slow down for it and catch it like this, that's not good. It's not good, all right? And now these wide receivers, they'll make passes look like they're in stride. The pass that I thought was a perfect pass to Tyreek Hill for a touchdown, that ball wasn't in stride. Tyreek had to slow down a little bit. He slowed his strides down and made that ball look like it was in stride. It was a deep pass that was perfectly thrown. That wasn't the case. All right, and I'm not doing it. I'm not saying that to say that Tua's trash, blah, 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 none of that. No. I'm just saying that we're going to need better accuracy, better ball placement from Tua because he's going to get tight coverage. Now, it doesn't mean that every pass is going to be perfect. I don't care who it is. I don't care how accurate the quarterback is. Every pass is not going to be pinpoint, perfect, accurate, right? It's not going to happen. You're going to have some passes where it's behind and things like that. And that's where wide receivers are also going to have to help out because sometimes the pass just is not going to be perfect because you have pressure running in your face. Yes, you would like your quarterback to stay in there and throw that ball regardless. Make sure he has perfect mechanics so that ball can be accurate. That's not going to happen every time. If you have the pressure coming in, me and you, we're standing back there. We have pressure coming in our faces. It's going to be tough, right? So we can't expect Tua for him to see that pressure and to be like, all right, he's zone in, see through that guy, throw it, get ready to get hit. It is what it is. No. Tua has to understand as well, his body is not going to hold up to all of that all the time. He can't do that sometimes. So if the ball's not going to be accurate, sometimes we just got to make adjustments, right? We got to catch that. We got to come out. If the ball's in the air as a wide receiver, that's how I was taught when I played wide receiver. It's your ball. Go get it. All right. You're not waiting for it. You're going to go get the ball. When I'm talking to kids, and they're trying to catch the ball, I always tell them go attack it. Attack the ball. All right. So we're going to attack that football. We're going to go get it. It's our football. If it's in the air, it's our football. That's what the wide receivers need to do to help Tua out. But Tua's going to have to be more accurate. Okay. That's what he's going to have to do moving forward. All right, now, let's get back to the silver lining. Here's the silver lining. Because we have had these two different scenarios the last two games, and we have sucked because of it as a team on offense, we now know that there's a problem, right? It's not all peaches and cream. We have to fix these issues. Now we get to see, okay, here's the silver lining. We get to see how McDaniel handles adversity as far as play calling and play design and scheming up against man coverage, press man coverage. We get to see how Tua responds. Is Tua going to be more accurate now? Is Tua going to make the outside throws that he was shy of making? There were a few out routes that they threw, all right, because they were, and so that's a credit a little bit to Mike McDaniel. They took away the middle of the field, so he said, all right, I'm going to throw some out-breaking routes. If you're going to take away the middle of the field, that means that the outsides are going to be open. Tua wasn't throwing them. They were open. Tua wasn't throwing them, okay? 15 to 20 yard out breaking routes from the far hash. I don't care what it is. You got to throw that ball. And it's not like, oh, Tua can't throw that ball. I saw Tua throw it to Gesicki against his body. Okay. To Gesicki, his rookie year, when he was even more hurt against Arizona in the Arizona game. Cross his body across the field to the other side. He's got enough arm to do it. He needs to drive that football to the outside. You stretch out the defense, It'll open up the middle, which is what you want. And I understand the middle of the field is what they want because it opens up so many things. Because now you don't have the defense, you don't have the sideline as another defender. That's why they like the middle of the field, because it gives you a two-way go. All right? If you're throwing to the sideline, it only gives you a one-way go. You can either go straight or you can cut it in. Throwing across the middle gives you a three-way go. Straight up the field or sideways and up, right? So that's what I should have said. It's a three-way go in the middle of the field, and on the sidelines, it's a two-way go. I get it. Mike McDaniel is smart. He's trying to maximize getting his guys into space. The most space that you can do is in the middle, not on the outside. So I fully get it. But if they're going to take away the middle, you got to attack the outsides. You got to attack the outsides. You got to attack them on the outside deep, and you have to attack them on the outsides on outbreaking routes. That's going to free up the middle. You got to be able to run the football way the heck more than we've been running the football. That's going to free up the middle. All right? You can run the football, then the linebackers have to come up. They'll put a safety in the box if you can really run the football. And then at that point, you can hit them over the top. Tua's got to be more accurate too, though, right? Because even when the guys were open and the timing was disrupted against the 49ers, still was off. So the timing is a big issue here. Now Tua's going to have to learn to reset his feet, right? So he can get back in time. If you're off on the first hitch, reset to the second hitch, reset to the third hitch, scan the field. I understand that guys are coming at you and the offensive line hasn't been playing great last two games. You're going to have to go back to the way you were doing it the first 2 years where you didn't get sacked a lot and you were sliding around in the pocket and you were still finding guys. He's going to have to go back to that. You're going to have to take your checkdowns more. In the last game, you look at the tape, there were checkdowns to be had for 10, 15 yards because they were clogging up the middle. Throw it on the outside. Throw more screens. All right? We do things like that. I promise you, it'll look better. No, it's not going to look the same, right? But they're taking away the middle. Of course, it can look the same. We now have a silver lining, all right? We know how they're going to play us, all right, moving forward. Let's do something about it now. All right? Better to find out now than you find out in the playoffs. Imagine we get through the season. We split the last two games, all right? We beat the Chargers. We are going to go up against Buffalo and then everybody else. And we're still able to put up 30 points. We lose some, win some. We get into the playoffs. We're thinking, oh, man, this offense is unstoppable. And then what happens to what the Chargers did to us happens in the second round or in the championship game. And we get exposed the same exact way, where Tua has a 10 for 28, same exact stats in the AFC Championship. Oh, just imagine the people calling for Tua's head at that point, right? Because they're like, oh, Tua's trash. He just completely coughed it up in the biggest game of his career to go to the Super Bowl. Like, he completely choked. That's what we'll be saying because we didn't see this type of game coming from him, right? Up until that point, he's been 70% completion, 2 touchdowns a game. And then in that game, he chokes completely. We would be calling for his head, myself included. I know I would. All right? It happened now. That's great for us. Bad because we know that he's capable of this type of game in big moments. But it's also good because we know why, and we understand now if it happens again, okay, there's just a problem with us as a team and our quarterback, all right? Because they're not able to adjust to what's going on. Better to see it now than to see it in the playoffs and for it to be hurting us forever because there ain't no more games. It happens to you in the playoffs, you lose like that, you got to wait till next year to respond, to see how the team responds. So it happened now. Thank God for you, Chargers, that it happened now. We appreciate you. We know exactly what the Bills are going to do. They're going to try us at that, some version of press and clogging up the middle and disrupting the timing because they understand that the timing is our biggest thing. That's why we've been able to eat is timing. All right, timing. Timing allows Tua to be the most accurate. It allows him to anticipate things like that. If you get Tua to second guess because the windows aren't there and the wide receiver is not where he's supposed to be, it's been flustering him of late. They understand that. We know what it is now. Now Tua has to adjust. Now Mike McDaniel has to adjust. As far as when it comes to press man, you think I'm not scared. I'm not scared because, yes, we were 1 for 8 in those moments of press man coverage. I'm not worried about that. That's one game. You continue to press man us. Continue to do it. And see what happens to you. Eventually, you're going to get burned because we have two guys that are faster than all the corners in the league, right? And we can run rub routes. There's so much you could do out of man. Tua was doing well against man early in the year, although he didn't see it nearly as much, but he was doing pretty well against man. I'm not worried about press man, okay? I'm worried about you disrupting the timing. That's what I'm worried about. I'm more so worried about the zones and the chucks. That's what I'm worried about. Press man, not too worried about that because you can only do that but so much and then you get burnt and then you can't do it no more. And then you could always move a guy in motion and then all of a sudden you can't press no more. So there's ways around press man. I'm not too worried about that. I'm also worried about the timing. We got to fix that. If we do, we can rattle off some games getting the playoffs. Now, at this point, do I feel like we're a Super Bowl team? No. We couldn't have been a Super Bowl team in the first place because defense was suspect. So too many injuries on defense. But we can at least be respectable again. Right now, it's not even respectable. We can at least do that. Please put in the comment section if you feel what I'm saying or if you have any other thoughts as to the silver lining and me giving you a blueprint of how we can move forward and how the offense can operate moving forward in some degree, some fashion. Obviously, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, and I don't know a lot of football. I know enough, but I don't know a lot of football to know the ins and outs of what should happen. But I'm giving you an idea of what I think could happen and an idea as to why we've been struggling, all right? Mainly timing. I'll holler at y'all in the next one. Y'all already know what it is. Fins up till we die. We still love our team. It's not about the love, all right? It's about the hurt, battered fans syndrome, right? Battered fan syndrome. It's creeping back up on us, and we just don't know how to handle it, all right? But I'll holler at y'all. Fins up till we die. See y'all in the preview. I am out.